Okay. We are going to do a demo here. So on Schoology, you need to go to the color theory project and into the Beyond Color demo folder here. The video will be linked right here. What we need to do is download this Illustrator AI file. So we're going to click on it and click on it again. It's going to go into your downloads, and we just want to click on that so it opens it up into Illustrator. If you haven't had Illustrator open already, it might take a second for it to open up, but this is what we want to see here. Really quick, I'm going to take you back out. You do have to submit this right below where you just downloaded that. It should end up looking something like this. So we're going to take this template and add a couple of details. It may not look super different to you, but there are a few key differences. Okay, so we're gonna zoom in. Instead of just using flat colors, we want to think about using gradients, thinking about using opacity and texture. So we're going to start with gradients on this left-hand side. We're going to add a gradient to our strawberry, to our sky, and to the record here. You should be on the drawing image section. The background should be locked already for you. I'm going to click on my strawberry here. I'm going to zoom in. That way, that's the only thing we're looking at. We have a couple different gradient options, and I'm going to show you what each one does here. So if you come over to your toolbar and you come down kind of in the middle to this little square with a gradient inside of it, it's kind of going from a dark value to a lighter value. We're going to click on it. You can see now that we have anchor points going around that path. Over here in the properties section is where you get to pick your gradient type. For the strawberry here, we want to pick this last one. It's the free-form gradient. Clicking on that. If you've recently used a gradient, it's going to show up with those colors. If you have not, it's just going to do grayscale. So we want to add some colors here to our gradient. The light source in the sky is coming in from the left, right? We can see the lights coming in, and then it's creating a shadow for our strawberry. So I'm going to go ahead and add in some colors thinking about that. So I know I want this side to be lighter and this side to be darker. What we need to do is we can click on one of these points. So I'll click on that top one. I double click on it, and then I can pick a color for the top of my strawberry. I'm going to go ahead and pick one that I like, a little bit lighter of a red. Once you get it to where you like it, you can click out of it. I'm going to come down here and double click on this point. Again, picking some reds here. I want it to be a little bit lighter, so I'm going to start sliding that up a little bit more. Once you get it where you like it, you can click out of it. If you want to keep adding this previous color, we can drop another point and it's going to keep the color we just worked with here. I can also grab this point and expand how far up that goes. I could make it really, really wide of an expansion. Make this one really, really wide. I can also move a point around. So maybe I want this to be down here instead. Right about here. This one in a little bit. This one up. And then over here, I want to add that shadow for my strawberry. So I'm going to do a darker red. I'm going to add another dark point down here. I want to add another one of these. So I'm going to drop a point. You can use the little stealer here, the eyedropper. We could steal a value. So I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. And make this a little bit, oops, whiter. Move this guy up. Oops. Drop another point here. And there is pre-made colors. I like to use the color mixer to make my own. If you don't want to make your own, you can use some of those pre-made ones. We just keep adding more and more values here to our strawberry. It's not too bad. Add another dark one down there. I could even make the side of this way, way darker if I wanted to. Add one more point back here. Let's make it really dark. There we go. So now we have a lot of good values happening on our strawberry. Dark one. Voila. So freeform, it allows you to kind of add as many points as you want. There is an option when you do this, you can edit that gradient if you don't end up liking it, where you can draw lines between these. I don't like doing that. I just like dropping points. Zoom in and show you. So I start drawing a line to the next one, the next one. I don't enjoy doing that. I think it's easier just to drop points and start seeing what it's looking like. So that is our freeform gradient. Pretty nice. I'm gonna come into here and do our sky now. For the sky, a good option for the gradients is kind of just a smooth transition from top to bottom, not like this freeform. You could do a freeform for like a misty effect. So I've clicked on my sky here with my black selection tool. You can see the path around it. I'm gonna go click on gradient again, and I'm gonna pick this one right here. It's the linear gradient. I don't want my sky to go light to dark in this direction. I want it to go dark to light from top to bottom. So I can just move this point here. I'm going to bring it up. Need to zoom out a little bit. Move it a little bit easier. There we go. Pulling that up. If I hold shift, it locks it into 45-degree angles. And I want to bring this top edge to the top of my paper, or top of my sky. I'm going to move this bottom edge all the way down too. Pull this up. So I can toggle these around on the line to kind of position where I want it at. I want most of my sky to be dark. And then this little diamond shape here allows us to pick the amount of fade. So you can have really little fade or quite a bit of fade. I'm trying to do a happy medium. Pull this right around there. And I could add, whoops, more points here if I wanted to. So I could drop another point. Pull that right up a little bit more. Whoa, too far up. Pull this one down a little bit more. And then drop my fade kind of in between. So you really have to kind of mess with it for a second to figure out how you like it. And then again, we're going to pick some colors here. Right now it's on like a black and white scale. But I'm gonna do a really, really dark, deep, creepy blue sky here. More of an eerie color. Here we go. Change the color of this one by double clicking on it. And I kind of like this white color. Maybe I should do more of a yellow. Double click on that guy. Okay, yellow in here. Switch back. It's like green. Disgusting green yellow. There we go. So that's a really nice effect for that sky there. Instead of just one solid color, you get a lot of different variety in there. And then last gradient I want to show you is for the record player. I'm going to click on the record here. I want this outside edge. You can change the inside edge too if you would like. See my path going around here. Click on my gradient tool, and I'm going to pick the radial gradient. And you can see it's stealing from the previous sky that we did up here. It's taking those same colors. We can change them up if we want to. I can move them around, pull this one out, make this one more like a deep purple, make this sky like a green color here. Yeah. Again, you can pick the amount of fade. I'm going to take that out pretty far. I'm going to move this out as well. And then I want to move this point out as well. I actually like that color. Well, let's do it. Let me change it up. We'll make it a little bit pink. And then I could also change the middle of it if I really wanted to. and also use that radial gradient. This guy, really in the middle, make this guy really dark. And I'm gonna make this guy dark. So not too shabby, right? If I want to get rid of a point, all you have to do is click on it and then hit backspace and it deletes it out. So now I have my little record on there. Okay, so those are the different types of gradients. We have freeform, linear, and then radial. Next thing I want to talk about is opacity. I'm going to take you to this car here. We want to go to our curvature tool, and I want to add like beams of light coming from the headlights here. Zoom in a little bit more. So I'm just going to go around and follow the form of this. It's going to still have the gradient on. Don't panic. Where I feel like it looks like the headlight is shining here. Bring this out a little bit more. And I want to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going on top of what we already drew. If we were pretending that we drew this, this is your artwork right now. And I'm adding beams of light coming off of this car. I want to change the color, not to a gradient. We want just a solid color, por favor. Thank you. Whoa. Another solid color. I'm actually going to color seal for my background image. That way it just matches it a little bit better. So I'm going to select both of these headlights. I held down Shift to grab one and grab the other. I'm going to go to my color picker. And let's do this color. There we go. And then I want to lower the opacity of both of them. So I have both of them selected. That way they're even. I'm just going to start dropping the opacity down. You could do very minimal. You could do it pretty bright, depending on what effect you're going for here. I'm gonna go right around here, I think. Click off of it, and it's a very simple effect to add kind of a see-through component, right? We're just messing with the opacity, making it more or less transparent here. That's without it, and then with it. I want to do the same thing down here, just adding another level of light kind of leaking through the trees. And this doesn't have to be just light leaks. You can do opacity with anything. I've seen people use it for like jellyfish tentacles, anything that you want to be see-through. Maybe you have a glass in your image and you want part of the water to be see-through. Grab that curvature tool. I want some light shining in from over here into the background. I want some lights coming in here, shining down onto this bird. And let's do a beam of light shining all the way down here into the middle. Whoops, too many clicks. And again, you can start to lower the opacity. So I'm on this top one. I'm going to start to drop my opacity down. Might have to move one of them out of the way to get to the other. The opacity of this guy and of this guy. If you want them all to be the same, remember you can grab all of them at once. This guy back into the front. You can see too, I didn't hit all the way at the bottom. Pull that down a little bit. And maybe you only want two beams of light, right? Maybe you don't want that second one or third one. Or maybe you don't like this one coming all the way out to the front because it's really dark up here. I can go back into that curvature tool. Maybe if it lets me. Here we go. And I can just move my points up to kind of where I want it to be. Move this guy here. And this guy here. Maybe I want to move this back one round. Pull it back. over here. Just adding some beams of sun coming down into that scene. So we went over gradients, gone over the opacity and what you can use it for. Last thing I want to think about is texture. We have this really cute cloud here. I want to show you a simple way to add texture. I do feel like this way of adding texture is a little bit lower of quality. If you were okay with the quality of it, then that's fine. I'm going to show you another way right after this. I'm going to click a section of my cloud here. I'm going to go up into Effect, down into Texture. You can click on any of them, doesn't really matter which one, because you can kind of pick through whichever one. Let's start at the top here. It opens up that portion of your shape here, so that part of my cloud, into a new window. And I can go through and see all of these pre-made effects. I'm going to go ahead and do the crack one. You can space it out. I can make it really wide or really itty bitty tiny. Do it like that. You can change the depth of it, so you can make it look really deep or kind of shallow. Do something in between. And you can change the overall brightness of it. So if you want it to be kind of subtle, you can make it a little bit lighter. Then you hit OK, and it applies that onto your image. I'm going to go ahead and go back into Effects and keep adding different textures here. The grain, you can change the intensity of it. Make it a little bit higher or lower in contrast. Oops. Yeah. Higher to keep it light. There's different grain types. Some of them are better than others. Soft's kind of nice. Sprinkle's kind of nice. Let's look at the intensity here. Oops. Yeah. Clumped. Oh, that's contrasty. Ooh, I kind of like that. Clumped, same thing. Enlarged. Take down the intensity. Amp up. And I don't like that so much. And then whichever one you like, you can hit OK. And I'm going to do that for the other two parts of my cloud here. Just picking some different textures. Let's do the patchwork. Some big squares in here. I want very low relief. There's also, got watercolor options under the patchwork. There's also, what else we got? Palette knife options in there. Texturizer. There's lots of different random, not so great for just one color. Some of them are better than others. Plastic wrap, smudge, underpainting. Watercolor just does black for this. That one's kind of fun. Keep that guy in there. Do it one more time. Texture, stained glass. We have lots of different things. We got neon glow. I don't love that. Takes us back into here. Ink outlines. Yuck. Glowing edges. Yuck. Let's do the plastic wrap one. I like that. Okay. So kind of a fun way to add just a couple quick textures there. Last thing is adding texture to this tree down here. What we want to do, zoom out a little bit, is you want to go to the web and find a texture that you like. You could look up tree texture, any texture you want, paper texture, crumpled paper, puzzle piece texture. I typed in turtle shell texture. I'm just going to copy and paste this image, copy it, and I'm going to paste it, pull it off my artboard, and scale it down. I'm holding shift to lock in the height and width, right, so it doesn't warp. And I'm just going to trace this image. So while I'm selected on it, I can see the path. I'm going to go over here and hit image trace. and hit black and white logo. And you can adjust how much of this dark section appears versus how much of the light section appears by hitting this little tablet. And you want to adjust the threshold. So we can back it up a little bit and more of that white will show through, or I can bring it forward and more of that black will show through. So you kind of want to find a happy in between area. And go back a little bit. Okay. And once you get it where you like it, you're going to click expand here. And then we want to delete out this white section. So we only want this black section to pop through. Easiest way to do that is with the magic wand tool. We don't have it over here. You could come and figure out where the heck it's at. I don't even know where it's at. Oh, it's up here. The shortcut for it though is Y. So I'm just going to click on Y on my keyboard. Boom, turns into that magic wand. I click on the white. I can see it appear over here. And then I'm just going to click backspace on my keyboard. Zoom out here so you can see what I'm getting ready to do. I want to grab all of this and copy it. So I'm going to hit Control C. Control C. I'm going to click off of it and click onto my tree. I'm going to go into Window, and I want to open up the transparency window. So if you're selected on your tree, you should see your tree in here. We want to double click on this opacity mask. So double click. Your tree will disappear. Don't worry, we just need to uncheck clip. And then if you've copied and pasted your texture here, like you should have, make sure you're selected on this box. You can see the blue path around mine. I'm just going to hit Control V, and it pastes it into that transparency mask. So you can see it start to move around on top of my tree there. I'm going to zoom in so you can see. And I'm just going to adjust it on top of it how I like it. See what that's looking like. Yeah, I kind of like that. Once you get it where you like it, don't hit release because it makes a big mess. All of this will show up because we will have released it from its mask. All you need to do is click on this guy. And then it's locked in there. So you can see it's kind of cut out those sections like a puzzle piece, which is why I have this tree behind it. That way it's not just on top of our grass here. So if you want to do that type of texture, you are more than welcome to. And I could change the opacity of this tree too if I feel like it's too much of a difference between one section to the next, right? Okay. And that is it between adding gradients, working with your opacity, and adding in some fun textures there. It can really kind of just quickly elevate your image. Once you get this done, please make sure you export it. File, where's export at? Here it is. Export, export as. Make sure you're clicking into your OneDrive. Don't click into this one up here underneath your quick access. You need to be clicking into the actual OneDrive cloud. Into your folder that you're saving it into. Make sure you switch it to a JPEG. And then name it. Completed. Color. Demo. Export it. And then we want to change this. Make sure it's RGB. Make sure this bar is high quality, 10 at maximum. Make sure this is baseline optimized. Make sure this is high, 300 pixels per inch. And make sure this is art optimized. So it should look like this. And you can hit OK. And then you will submit that to Schoology. Okay. That is it. Thank you for watching.